Hey everybody, Matt LaPlante here with this year's annual Look Behind, Look Ahead series. If those of you who aren't aware, basically I do this every year just to talk about what happened, a little bit about what happened last year, and really spend the bulk of the time talking about what I think is going to happen in this year, 2023, or the following year. So 2022, let's start there. 2022 was basically the mirror opposite of 2021. So 2021, we saw the market really just go straight up, really hardly ever sold off. 2022, it basically did like I said, the exact opposite. Any kind of rally was then just sold, and it just kind of did that over and over and over again. So 2022 has been a bit of a rough year. In general, people generally saw their portfolio go down anywhere from 20 to 30%. That's the average range, I would say. The more tech heavy, the more tech companies that you owned in your portfolio, you might have seen significantly more than that. So like if you own some of the largest technology companies, you could have seen, and that was the bulk of your holdings, you could have seen down 40, 50, 60%, and I hate to say that, but that's what we saw with some of these companies really got crushed in 2022. So what caused that? The reason I want to go over that is that when we go over this, the steps that caused what happened in 2022, we can see the opposite in 2023 is what we want to see in order for the market to rebound. So 2022, what we really saw was inflation continued to be an issue. So inflation continued to rise, got up pretty high. For a lot of you may have seen your grocery bills go up by 20% or more year over year. So that's not good. So that caused a lot of angst and issues in our economy. As a result of inflation going up, the Federal Reserve, whose job it is to either push money into the economy or take money out, well, the way they deal with inflation is basically they take money out of the economy, and that's what they started doing. And they took it out at a faster rate than most people have seen in their lifetimes. Really, you saw interest rates just go from basically zero to up to almost 5%. So that's a very quick increase in interest rates. There's a lot of money that they're pulling out of the economy very, very quickly. So as a result of them pulling that money out of the economy, caused the economy to slow down, which means companies, they're not growing as much, or they're even shrinking. And as a result, if that's what you're seeing, they start to have layoffs. Now, when you see all of those things happen, that's what causes the stock market to sell off, because it's going, we're seeing these steps happen. This leads to a negative economy and or a recession, which is the ultimate biggest sell-off usually for the stock market. So that's 2022, but let's remember those steps, because in 2023, we can see the potential for the reverse of these. And this is why I would say 2023 is, I would call it, we're looking for the maverick year. And for those of you who haven't seen it, so I'm referencing, there was this past year, Top Gun Maverick came out, and it was like one of the biggest movies of 2022. But in that movie, spoiler alert, he basically says, we need these two miracles to happen. And if these two miracles happen, then we'll be successful in our mission. Well, 2023 is probably going to shape up. We need two miracles to occur, 2020, and then it could end up being a good year. So the first miracle, as I talked about, inflation was really what set this whole thing off for the drawdown in 2022. Well, that's the first thing we're looking at to start the draw back up in 2023. So the good news is that first miracle, the inflation miracle, has peaked. So in 2022, roughly third quarter of last year, we saw inflation peak out and come back down. Now, it hasn't come all the way back down to where we normally see it. Normal is 2 to 3% inflation. That's typical. So we saw it come up. It's right in the 5-6% range. So we need to come down some more, but the trajectory that we're seeing it come down very quickly, that is good. So if we continue to see that, that will lead to a good market. Step number 2, the second miracle we're looking for is the Federal Reserve to stop pulling money out of the economy. So if the Federal Reserve says, oh, hey, look, inflation is coming down, things are struggling, the economy is struggling, and we need to stop pulling money out, that is really the second miracle that could cause the market to stabilize and then turn up. So those are the two things we're looking for, because we're already seeing a lot of struggling companies laying people off, but hopefully that starts to dissipate. We don't see quite as many layoffs coming up because layoffs typically are one of the last things that happen in a recession, and so we want to see that start to slow down. So the biggest dangers that we have in 2023 are really, we want to see inflation come down quickly and the Federal Reserve stop. So those two miracles. We should be concerned if inflation doesn't come down quickly, if it kind of pauses out in that 4 or 5% range, or it starts to go back up again. That would be a definite negative, and we would probably see the market struggle or go down, because the Federal Reserve, miracle number 2, would not be a miracle. They'd have to then pull more money out of the economy. So we have to keep an eye on this. Like I said, it's a maverick year, so we have to stay nimble. We got to focus on those two things because that's probably what's going to drive the market for the bulk of 2023. So thanks. I'll see you guys next time.